In the first part of The Lion King, we witnessed the great conflict between Mufasa and his brother Scar. Scar managed to kill Mufasa and install himself as king. In the end, Simba, Mufasa's son, returned to avenge his uncle Scar. However, the true reason behind the rivalry between Scar and Mufasa remained a mystery that this new chapter will finally reveal. This new part of the film will uncover the details behind their enmity and explain what made the two brothers despise each other. If you would like to watch a summary of the first part, you can find it on our channel Recap Time. The second part begins with Simba, Mufasa's son, addressing the animals, saying,
"Share is the fulfillment of my father's vision."
And then a new member will join the family. Then we see Nala waiting for Simba in the forest, on the verge of giving birth. Meanwhile, Simba meets Timon and Pumbaa and tells them,
Yes, I need you to stay with Kiara until I get back.
Soon after, a thunderstorm begins. Pumbaa, Timon, and Kiara rush to the cave. Suddenly, Rafiki appears and notices that Kiara is anxious because her family has left her. He tells her, "Your family is like this tree. Their roots are very strong, and they will never leave you." Kiara replies, "I'm afraid of the storm." Rafiki then says, when Simba was your age, he too was afraid of thunder. But one day, Mufasa climbed the highest peak and taught him not to fear the storm. Rafiki then begins to recount a story about Mufasa's youth. He says one day, Mufasa's family took him to a mountain peak, and his mother told him that one day they would journey to Malai Valley, a valley of pride. Then Mufasa entered a lake and swam with other animals. Suddenly, fast currents appeared, and Mufasa began to drown. At that moment, his father rushed after him to pull him from the water, but he collided with rocks. Mufasa swam desperately toward his mother, but suddenly, an elephant fell into the water and struck him against the rocks, shattering them, and Mufasa fell into the lake and drowned. After several attempts, Mufasa found a tree trunk floating in the sea and climbed onto it, staying in the water for several days. Later, a young cub named Taka approached him and said, "There's a crocodile behind you." Mufasa started swimming, but he could not escape the water. Suddenly, Ishi, Taka's mother, appeared and rescued Mufasa from the water. Ishi said to Taka, "Your father does not allow us to meet wanderers." Mufasa replied, "I'm not lost. I merely strayed from the path." Ishi then decided to take Mufasa with her. However, upon their arrival, they encountered King Obesai, who told Ishi, "We do not accept strangers here." Mufasa said,
"I'm not a Kabeti.
And I have strayed from the path." Obesai grew angry and replied, "Your name, Mufasa, means king, and I am the only one here who deserves that title. You had better run before I am forced to harm you." Mufasa responded, "If you run, you won't be able to catch me, for I am the fastest creature." Obesai then challenged him, "If you believe you are faster, let us race. If my son Taka wins, I will kill you." Ishi agreed and added, "And if Mufasa wins, let him live." The race began, and Mufasa ran with all his might. Taka ran fast as well, but along the way, Taka said, "I always wished to have a brother." Here, Taka meant that he would intentionally slow down to lose the race. In the end, Mufasa reached the finish line and won. Obesai, enraged, told Ishi he will live, but he will live among the females. Despite this, Mufasa and Taka remained together, growing up side by side over the years. After several adventures, Mufasa and Taka played a prank on the forest lions to scare them. However, Obesai became furious with Mufasa and declared, "You are forbidden to approach the shadow tree," ordering him to be expelled from its vicinity. At that time, Obesai said to Taka, "Your mother adopts every creature she sees, and one day, this wanderer will betray you." But Taka paid no heed to his father's words. Then Mufasa went with Ishi to continue hunting. Ishi advised him, "Close your eyes and follow your sense of smell." By following her instructions, Mufasa managed to locate a herd of gazelles after a day and a half. At that moment, he remembered his family and felt a deep sadness. Ishi consoled him, "If you complete your training, you will find them once you master the skill of tracking." Mufasa replied, "But Obesai will never accept me into his family." Ishi responded, "You are my family, and I do not care about Obesai." Meanwhile, Taka watched them from afar. As they neared the gazelles, white lions suddenly appeared and attacked Ishi. At that moment, Mufasa arrived and began fighting the lions. Taka also arrived, but upon witnessing the battle, he became frightened, retreated, and fled. In the end, Mufasa and Ishi managed to kill the white lion named Shago, while the other lion escaped. When they returned, they found Obesai waiting for them. Obesai said to Mufasa, "I owe you because you saved my wife." Mufasa replied, "The white lions are just a day away, and they will attack us for revenge. Obeisai did not believe him and sent one lion to investigate. Simultaneously, another lion went to King Kuros to report that Shago had been killed. Kuros became furious and declared, "You let my son die," and fled. He then ordered the lion's death. The lions attacked and killed him. Shikwaro realized what had happened and decided to inform Obeisai. Meanwhile, Obeisai scolded his son Taka for running away and abandoning his mother. Taka said, "I was scared, so I fled." Shikwaro intervened and recounted what he had seen, prompting Obeisai to decide to send Taka and Mufasa away to protect them from danger. The next day, Mufasa said to Ishii, "Cannot let you die." Ishii replied, "You must live and carry on your family," and sent them on their way. At the same time, the white lions reached the shadow tree. Obeisai said to Kuros, "The lions among us have an agreement not to attack one another." But Kuros retorted, "That was in the past," and the lions attacked Obeisai and Ishii, killing them. Later, the white lions confronted Mufasa and Taka at the lake. Mufasa felt fear as he remembered losing his family when he had entered the lake. Suddenly, Kuros and his lions appeared and captured Mufasa and Taka. Kuros demanded, "Who among you killed my son?" Mufasa replied, "I killed him." Then Kuros turned to Taka and said, "You are the son of the king, the last drop of royal blood, and I will kill you." After Mufasa and Taka fled, they reached a towering waterfall. Mufasa decided to stay and try to confront the water, but Taka tricked him and pushed him in. Both entered the water, and the currents swept them away, allowing them to escape the white lions. That night, they arrived in the forest, where Taka said to Mufasa, "This is the second time I have saved you." During their conversation, a woman named Zura, Taka recognized her and invited her to join them, but she refused. At the same time, they met Zura's guard, the bird Zazu. Taka asked her, "How does the king protect you with such a weak bird?" Zura replied, "Because he can fly." She continued, "How long will you continue to stumble until you reach your destination?" Mufasa explained that their goal was to reach Malilai, but Zura insisted that Malilai was merely a myth and not real. They then heard the sounds of animals coming from deep in the forest, so they headed there in search of food and prey. Meanwhile, a troop of monkeys had gathered, frightened by the lions' attacks. One monkey mentioned that the attacks would increase because Rafiki, who dreams of beasts, was summoning them to his tree. Although one monkey defended Rafiki, saying he had saved them from drought, the troop's leader proposed that Rafiki be expelled from the tree. All the monkeys voted for his expulsion. Rafiki then decided to leave, descended from the tree, and walked through the forest. Mufasa intercepted him to capture him, but Rafiki showed no fear and continued on. Finally, Mufasa said, "You can run, but I will catch you." Rafiki replied, "If you kill me, you will never reach Malilai. I have dreamed of it many times and know the way." The narration then returns to the present, where Pumbaa and Timon appear, unable to believe that Rafiki had inserted himself into the story to become its hero. Rafiki continued his tale. Afterward, Mufasa awoke from a troubling dream and sought out Rafiki, who said, "You are a weak lion who is even afraid of his own dreams." Mufasa replied, "I see my mother in my dreams, telling me that we will go to Malilai." Rafiki then said that his mother was coming to guide him to the right path. The next day, the trio continued their journey, while Kuros and his lions tracked them by their scent. At the same time, Taka approached Mufasa and said, "I admire Zura, but I do not know how to speak to her. Can you teach me?" Mufasa replied, "Ask her about the flowers in the valley, especially the duck flowers. They will surely impress her." Surprised, Taka asked, "How did you know that?" Mufasa answered, "The scent of the flowers lingers on her." Taka then spoke with Zura, mentioning that her scent reminded him of duck flowers. Zura replied that their valley was full of duck flowers and asked how he knew. Taka explained that it was thanks to his keen sense of smell. While the three were conversing, they heard the sounds of migrating animals, which puzzled Mufasa as it was not the season for migration. Suddenly, the white lions reappeared. Mufasa suggested calling the elephants for help, but the elephants showed no interest. Then Zura accidentally struck a beehive and fell onto the elephants, causing chaos as the elephants charged and trampled some of them. Zura fell to the ground and lost consciousness. Mufasa immediately stepped forward to shield her from the lions, repeatedly saying,
I got you.
Meanwhile, Taka retreated in fear. Soon after, Kuros and the lions attacked the group. Azura asked, "Who saved me?" Mufasa falsely claimed that Taka had rescued her. They continued on until they reached a snowy area, where Rafiki stumbled in the snow and Mufasa helped him up. Zura then remembered once again that Mufasa was the one who had saved her, and she approached him. Mufasa said, I smell an animal behind the rock. Zura looked and recognized the animal, praising his strong sense of smell and his ability to detect the scent of duck flowers on her body, affirming that Mufasa was indeed her savior. Mufasa denied this, claiming he had saved her from the water and that he carried the blood of the king, which qualified him to be king. But Zura arranged it so that his rescue was truly her rescue. She confirmed that he was the one who saved her. At that moment, Taka felt resentful upon hearing these words, recalling that his father had once warned him about the betrayal of a brother. Taka then went to the White Lions on his own and declared that Kuros was the one who had killed the king's son, inviting them to join in seeking revenge against Mufasa. Taka received their agreement, then returned to Mufasa
Taka, you
and
saved
said,
me. I need to thank you.
They continued walking, but Taka deliberately left behind tracks so that Kuros could follow them. After a long journey, they reached Malilai. The gazelles warned them of approaching danger as they were aware of their presence. Mufasa replied that he had hidden their tracks and that no one would be able to follow them. However, before he could finish speaking, the lions appeared, declaring, "We only want Mufasa, and we will not harm you." Mufasa decided to confront the lions, but was shocked when Kuros informed him that they had reached him through his brother. Mufasa then asked Taka, "Is that true?" Taka replied, "Zura and my mother love you more than I do, and even my father chose you, while I was the one who saved you, and you have betrayed me." Then Mufasa left alone. Kuros attacked Mufasa, who fled and climbed to the top of a hill. However, Kuros pushed him, causing him to fall from the summit. At that moment, Zura approached the lions, pleading for their help, but they refused. In the same instant, Mufasa stood atop the hill and addressed the animals. "Today they have come to attack you, so beware, for tomorrow they will come for you." Moved by his words, the animals decided to join the battle. The lionesses attacked but soon fled. Mufasa engaged the lions, but he lost his balance and fell into a cave. Kuros pursued him and attacked again. Just before Kuros could strike, Taka took the blow in his stead, uniting with Mufasa against Kuros. Suddenly, an earthquake struck, causing Mufasa and Kuros to fall into the water. Mufasa recalled Ishi's instructions. He saw the rock where Ishi had fallen and seized the opportunity to push Kuros under the rock until he died. Mufasa emerged from the water, and Taka helped him climb up. The animals gathered and celebrated Mufasa, proclaiming him their king. Suddenly, the scent of his family reached Mufasa's senses, and he ran after it until he found his mother embracing him. However, when he asked about her and his father, she told him that his father had died, deeply saddening Mufasa. At that moment, Zazu asked Mufasa to exile Taka from the valley, but Mufasa refused, saying, "My brother will remain here." He then approached Taka and declared, "I will never call you by your name again." Taka replied,
Then call me Scar.
"To remind you of what I have done." Meanwhile, we see Kiera moved by the story and filled with pride for her grandfather Mufasa. Soon after, Simba arrived carrying Nala, along with a young cub. Nala said, "This is your new brother, protect him from every danger." And thus, the film's story comes to an end.